a rare off week, 3-11, 77-87, and 2 on the season. He'll make up for all that next week, though. So it's all good. And before we get into this, Jeff, I saw something that's very, very significant to this week. Most of the spreads are very close, 3.5 or lower. And then we have a lot of ones as well, too. That's because we have a lot of 50-50 matchups this week. And so people have to be prepared for a week of possible big upsets as well, too. Doggy dog week. And that's kind of where my flow is at this week. So let's jump into it. And, we usually have ourselves a cool little Thursday and everything like that. We just got one game, but we got Thursday night football 3 times. And really it's Thursday football. And then we got some Thursday, and then we got a Thursday night game. So let's go ahead, jump into our first game, which is always a classic on Thanksgiving. This is going to be the Packers, who are 4-6. You have the Lions, who are 8-2. We have a 7.5-point spread and over under of 47. So when I look at this game, Jeff, I always feel that when you have a team like the Lions here, you can go ahead and you can really, really, really take into fruition that this team is very game. That's what they do. That's what they're about. They're about getting the job done. And I think that a lot of times that a lot of people have to understand Detroit is playing way better than a lot of us assume they would. I would say this, Detroit, I would have gave them 7-3, 6-4 right now, to be honest with you. When we start the season, these guys are 8-2, and I keep saying they got to win that they weren't supposed to get. But you know what? In the NFL, there's no such thing as that. So this win against Kansas City should have shown everybody early on this season that this is not your regular Detroit Lions football. Because they've been talking for years about being a great team, but now it's really there that they're a great team. And I truly do think that when it all comes down to it, when it's all said and done, that this game will wind up being a very definitive game for the Lions moving forward, because they've already beaten the Packers this year. And the Packers really were out of their wits, but it was 3 days after the after a Sunday game. And I think they had wound up winning that game that Sunday. Then they came back around for this game, and that game was a tough game. I think that was the New Orleans game right there as well, too, wasn't it? The New Orleans game where they had to come back in the fourth quarter and all that good stuff. Then they come back Thursday as a favorite, and everybody had this idea that they would be able to kill and everything like that, and it didn't work out like that. So pretty much the way I see this game setting up, I really did like Jordan Love's performance on Sunday. Guy threw for 322 yards, and people can say what they want. But I keep saying, if you give them a little bit more weapons and things of that nature, with the way that they call plays in Green Bay, you could see a B version of Patrick all day in him. And seriously, Jordan Love, 6'6". He's very versatile. He moves quickly. He throws a great ball as well, too. Throws a great deep ball. And he's an accurate passer when he has time to be an accurate passer. And you know what? He's pretty good at throwing on the run as well, too. So I feel like since you have a Green Bay team that's possibly a bit better than the Chicago team that they just played, I'm going to go ahead and take the Packers to make this game a game. And I really kind of feel that the Packers can go in here and actually beat the Lions, because the Lions are going to have a lot of pressure on them on Thursday. And I don't know how they are with a lot of pressure. Now we know you're good. Now we know you're real good. So that means bettors will get overconfident. Now you truly trust the Lions. I think that we've all been making money off the Lions because we halfway trust them this year. But you're going to trust them 100% on Thursday. I know this. And that's why I feel like the Packers will probably get an upset. Somebody's getting upset on Thursday. These lines are too heavy for this to be a straight favorite sweep them. Jeff, what are your thoughts, and where are you going with this one?
My true number was 7 with a 45, up to 7.5 with a 47.5 in the at Circa Las Vegas. There comes, it's funny when you put the last week's records up there. There was a time last year where we're sitting, 18, 20, 24, 26 games over 500, and it just takes one or two bad weeks. I can't remember the last week that was that bad, but just sometimes you look at the games, and this is what the numbers say, and they just don't show up that way. I'll be honest, this is one of them. I think the Lions are going to find a way to win. I think it's going to be a hard fought game. Lions are just playing really damn good football, and they should have lost last Sunday. Maybe they were peeking ahead to this Thursday. Justin Fields looked great, and they had a 12-point lead late, and they just blew it. Hats off again to the Lions there. I bought the hook. I took the Lions down to 7. I don't like the move. I don't like the play. I think the Lions win. I could see this, Pops, as your 24-20 game, 24-21, 24-17 somewhere. I'm just hoping Lions find a way to at least win by 7 or more. Don't have great feelings on this at all. Just took the team that I think is going to win the game, Pups.
All right. So I like the way that that sounds. I think that you're on to something heavy there. And the Lions are America's team. I said this the first week of the season. This is what you want in America's team. A team that's downtrodden, a downtrodden city, a team that really is the heartbeat of the city when they're good. You know what I mean? They get people up and people excited because hey, it's miserable times in the Midwest. Let's keep it real. There's a lot of things that left the great Midwest, and the only things that they have now are their sports teams. So when these teams play well, it's always a big deal. And you know what? The Lions are doing God's work right now for those people in Michigan. And in my boldest opinion, to be honest with you, this is a beautiful time for those fans because they've been waiting for 30 years, literally 30 years for this thing to work again. And it's working again because I remember as a kid in the 90s, the Lions were a significant team on TV. They had a star that kept them on TV as well too, and they always were in the mix of being in the playoffs. This reminds me of that time for the Lions. But there's no Wayne Fonts, there's no Barry Sanders, and Scott. And you always call out Scott Mitchell, but I always call out Rodney Peete because Rodney Peete when they played Washington in the conference championship. Now let's move forward. Let's talk about the next game, which is going to be the Commanders